All right, let's just dive right in. If you're a live visual artist, you totally get this struggle, right? You've got the talent, you've got the gear, but finding a stage, it can feel like this impossible quest. So today, we're going to flip that script. We're going to turn that whole daunting task into an awesome, empowering global journey. So let's grab our passports and get started by tackling the biggest roadblock right out of the gate. This is the question, isn't it? The one every VJ asks. You're out there looking for a spot that's, affordable, has the right tech, a decent projector, a good sound system, and, this is the kicker, is actually open to the kind of experimental work you do. It sounds simple enough on paper, but man, the search can be so frustrating. So why is it so hard? Well, it's because a lot of us, myself included sometimes, get trapped by what I like to call the false constraints. It's this idea that we have to find that one magical unicorn of a venue, the place that has it all, the perfect room and all the perfect tech just sitting there ready to go. And that one single belief, that's what makes the whole thing so difficult and, let's be honest, so crazy expensive. But what if we could just break that constraint? Okay, to do that, we're going to look at a blueprint, a model that was basically perfected in one of the most competitive creative cities on the planet, Los Angeles. And I want to be clear, we're not just talking about LA as a place. We're looking at it as a repeatable case study, a playbook that any artist can pick up and use, no matter where you are in the world. So here's the big aha moment. It all comes down to this. There are two totally different ways to think about getting a stage. On one side, you've got what we'll call the plug-and-play option. A professional venue where everything is included. Super convenient for sure, but also super rigid and expensive. But on the other side, you have the DIY takeover. This is where you find a blank canvas space and you bring the gear in yourself. And that, my friends, is where the real creative freedom is.
And just look at this, the cost difference is absolutely staggering. I mean, it's wild. A high-end, all-in-one plug-and-play spot in LA, like a Playa Studios, could set you back around $7,800 for one night. But a DIY show? We're talking about a completely different universe of cost. A universe that's actually, within reach for most of us.
$365. That's it. It just perfectly shows the power of going DIY. So how is that even possible? It's actually pretty simple. You go out and rent a cool, affordable blank canvas space, like a warehouse or a loft for maybe $200. Then you rent a pro projector and screen package for about $165, and just like that, boom, you are in complete control for a tiny fraction of the cost. Okay, so once that fundamental mindset shift clicks in, separating the space from the tech, you start to see that there are really three main paths you can take to get your work up on a screen. Let's use LA as our training ground here to really nail down what those are. Think of these three paths as like a ladder of creative control. You can start by getting invited through an open call. The next step up is getting booked for a guest spot. And then at the top, you've got complete ownership with my personal favorite, the DIY takeover. All right, let's talk about that guest spot path. The secret here is to find the people, the curators, the communities that are already into the kind of work you're making. In LA, a place like Coaxial Arts Foundation is pretty much ground zero for this. And it's not just a venue. It's a nonprofit that's literally run by artists for artists. And the best part? It comes with a built-in audience that is hungry for experimental media. And Coaxial is just the tip of the iceberg, really. The whole ecosystem there is so rich. You've got museums like the Torrance Art Museum. They have a series specifically for VHS-driven visuals. How cool is that? Then you have legendary avant-garde venues like Red Cat and Zebulon. Sending a pitch to the curators at these spots is your direct line. It's how you get a paid gig with an audience that's already there and ready for what you've got. But let's be real, the most empowering path, the one that gives you all the control, is the DIY takeover. And it's a really simple 4-step process. Step 1, secure your space. Use a site like PeerSpace. Step 2, source your gear from a local AV rental company. Step 3, build your budget. And remember, it can be as low as $365. And step 4, promote your show. Suddenly, you are the producer. You have full creative control. Okay, so you're probably thinking, that's great for LA, but how does this scale? Well, here's the beauty of it. Once you've mastered this logic in your own local scene, you can apply the exact same strategies literally anywhere in the world. The ideas of finding open calls, curated spots, and DIY spaces, they're totally universal. So I think it's time to take this show on a world tour. First stop, Morocco. The Live Performers Meeting, or LPM, is the perfect example of an open call. We're talking about a massive gathering where you apply for a slot and get this. They provide everything. The stage, the projectors, they even put you up in a desert camp. It's just an incredible chance to connect with hundreds of artists from all over the world. Literally, all you have to do is show up with your laptop.
All right, next up, let's head to Mexico City. During the city's biggest art week, there's this artist-run fair called Salon Acme, and they have an open call specifically for new media. If you get selected, they give you the projection space and the AV setup. Your work gets put directly in front of this huge art-savvy international crowd. It's a huge opportunity.
And for our last stop on this quick world tour, we're off to Bangkok. The amazing Bangkok Art and Culture Center hosts the Intact Festival. They put out open calls for these experimental nights, and they give you a fully equipped room to work in. This just goes to show you that even major cultural institutions are getting in on this and creating spaces for VJs. All you need to bring is your creative vision. Okay, so you've got the blueprint, you've seen the global possibilities, you're probably fired up, right? So now let's get practical. Let's equip you with the exact tools you're going to need to actually make this happen. Think of this as your essential VJ toolkit for building your own tour.
Listen, a good professional pitch is everything, seriously. So here are 2 templates. Go ahead and screenshot this. You can adapt them for your own use. When you're emailing a curator for a guest spot, your whole goal is to show artistic fit, to show you're a peer. But when you're hitting up a venue for a DIY show, it's a business transaction. You need to be clear, professional, all about the logistics. See? 2 different goals, 2 totally different messages. And please, remember this. You are not alone in this. Community is absolutely crucial. Joining Discord servers like the VJHO community or hanging out on the VJing subreddit connects you to this amazing global network. And these places aren't just forums, okay? They're like virtual studios where you can find people to collaborate with, get help troubleshooting tech problems, and get some real honest feedback on your stuff. Wow, okay. We have covered a ton of ground, haven't we? We went from a mental block in LA all the way to a concrete plan for a world tour. And it all boils down to one really powerful idea. You do not have to wait for an invitation. You can create your own stage. So, here it is, your final action plan. 6 simple steps to get you started. 1. Refine your portfolio. Get that 2-minute reel looking absolutely killer. 2. Build your target list of venues and curators. 3. Budget out your first DIY show. 4. Send out those pitches we talked about. 5. Connect with that online community. And finally, number 6, execute your show. And this is so important, document it with great video. Because that documentation, that's your ticket to the next bigger gig. Ultimately, what all of this really proves is that the biggest, most important shift has to happen in your mindset. A stage isn't something you just go out and find, it's something you build. So the only question left to ask is, where are you going to build yours?